Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Shayma Khalil, and I'm the Operations Director of the Iraqi and American Reconciliation Project. We are a non-profit organization founded in 2007, based in Minneapolis. We build the bridges of communication, understanding, and support between Iraqis and Americans after decades of sanctions and war. With the month of March marking several important dates for Iraqis and for women, March 5th marked 16 years after the Al-Mutanabbi Street bombing. March 8th marked International Women's Day, and March 20 will mark 20 years after the invasion of Iraq. We felt it was important to put together a program that celebrated Iraqi and women's expression and collaborations. We are honored to have the poet Dunya Mikhail grace us with her presence tonight. We are also honored to have Amy Merrill and Letta, Neely, two artists from the Her Story Is Collective, who we have had the pleasure of working closely with for the last few years. Later in the program, they will be telling us more about their collective and collaborations. We Are Clouds was inspired by two of the poets here tonight. A poem of Dunya Mikhail, which she will read later tonight, of how much Iraqis carry across borders, just like clouds. And another poem by Hanna, Mohammed, who unfortunately was denied a visa and is not able to join us tonight. I will take a moment to read her poem dedicated to women in two languages, English and Arabic. The poem name, Her Story Is, Her Day Is. To spell this word, to mount the ladder of its music, to turn sorrow into a wide embrace, into clouds when falling upward into love, to sway with confidence after every stumble, and if dancing for the world's every joy. This is all a free lesson of a woman. by هناء محمد. قصيدة الدكتورة هناء محمد بمناسبة 8 مارس يوم المرأة العالمي. أن تتهجأ هذا العالم وتتسلق سلمه الموسيقي، أن تتحول إلى حضن شاسع عند الحزن، وإلى غيمات حين تسقط في الحب نحو الأعلى، أن تتمايل بقوة بعد كل عثرة، كما لو إنك ترقص نيابة عن كل فرح هذا العالم. إنه درس مجاني من امرأة. I will do my introduction now, brief introduction in Arabic language. تحية طيبة. يتضمن حوارنا الإبداعي اليوم حوارات وجولات نقاشية ثرية بين فنانات وشاعرات من العراق وأمريكا، حيث التنقل في جماليات الفنون وحقول الشعر والمسرح والفنون البصرية. في كل عام من شهر آذار تدق الساعات وتضرب الأيام موعدا مهما من أجل لحظة المرأة وعطاء المرأة وبسالة المرأة، وهي تخوض التحديات وتقارع الصعوبات لتعلن عن صوتها عبر كفاحاتها المستمرة ونضالاتها الأكيدة للدفاع عن منزلتها وكيانها بأنها صانعة الحياة المتفردة. ومن أجل إدامة التواصل ومد أواصر الإبداع والتكامل تتعاضد فنانات من العراق وأمريكا على مشاركة قصصهن من خلال الفنون والشعر والرسم والمسرح، بهدف دعم التعبير عن حلم الإنسان وطموحاته ورغباته في حياة أجمل. شكراً لكم. Tonight, we celebrate the fighting and creative spirit of women and Iraqis who, like clouds, despite holding so much, can somehow fall upwards. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you to Open Book for their warm welcome to us tonight. and thank you to our funders, ARP Midwest and the Minnesota State Art Board, for making this evening possible. And now, I would like to introduce our first presentation called Where Do You Live? An exchange of poems between Boston-based poet Jennifer John and Mosul-based poet Hanna Mohammed, who are a part of the Her Story Is collective. Both artists are not able to join here tonight. And so we are grateful to local artists Aamera Siddiqui and Yara, who have stepped in to bring their poetry to life tonight. Please welcome with me Aamera Siddiqui and Yara. Thank you.
بريد غير سري للغاية. هناء محمد. لا وطن أدس رأسي في صدره ذاكري، لا حرب تقتل ذاكرتي. هكذا أجيب عيني جنفر وهما تنصتان لسيرة أصابعي. لا يد تلوح من فوق الجسر العتيق، لا جار يراعي حاجتنا لصوت فيروز. لا حقيبة أحفظ فيها فساتين سهر وصورة لشفتي قبل اليباس. لا حبيب يهاتفني صباحا هامسا استيقظي ليصحو العالم. لا أهل يسمحون للهجران لأزج نفسي في أقرب منفى. لا صديق يربت على كتف حزني ويجعل يدي تتوقف عن التلويح لموت قريب، فالموت هو أن نتوقع حدوثه.
The Falconers by Jennifer Jean. I don't know you yet, Hanna. I don't know if you've ever heard of Tinseltown, if you'd ever be drawn to this palace of narrative, this hero's journey peddler. Though this plot is programmed to receive our kind, we are potential creators. We chase denouement, we begin together, walk west on Sunset Boulevard, away from this industry of death museum, towards Hollywood High, pause under a grimy awning at the Budget Inn. The final place my war-torn father held me. It was so odd. He'd held me once before, 48 years before. It had been 1 year of the rat to another year of the rat. The cobalt sky slouched against us each time. This time, the door to a drug rehab center kept slamming open. Then I let him go home to his motel room. I turned west. Let's race west together, Hanna, and let that scene be happy. A small image out of Spiritus Mundi. Above us, so many dull brass stars litter Vine Street where all tourists trek. Let's be human together instead. Outstrip the setting sun. We'll need to be Californian. We'll need a convertible. Though I hate those things, the sky and its potential poisons always enter. A glittering burn enters, and if you want to drive. Outpace the autumn light with one arm on the door and one hand on the wheel. Wind around the warm Santa Ana winds. Point out every transplanted palm, every perched kestrel. Pull in at the end of the boulevard at Gladstone's beach. And together in this lot, we'll face the cotton candy cumulus, the periwinkle glow over cold ocean motions. With our words, we'll remake every fake enamel falcon into a gift, into freedom in clean air. We'll rewrite this town, make true all silver screen sisterhoods, all the stuff that dreams are made of.
رصيف الكتب، الأرصفة الصدئة تشتاق الكتب وتطالب الشوارع الفارغة بوقف إطلاق الحزن على المارة وكنس تسكعهم.
Reading fiction in my 40s by Jennifer Jean. When approaching that ocean, I recall thick foam flowering around my old bones. That is my young skin breaching breakers with an unfixed smile. Now, I never let a toe get wet. When the roller coaster clacks by degrees overhead, bolts fast to earth, I hear a fabulous shriek, a 4th grade standard, which is the end of that story. When I go to sleep, I do not go to sleep and can't recall that rest. I'm certain I used to drift promptly into not dreams, but sweet mystery. Somehow I breathe now, too fast to fall that deep into love again.
ثلاث حكايات. أحدثك عن الأرض التي تبلع أحلام الحبيبات والأمهات وحلوى العيد. الأرض التي تبلع الجنود وتحولهم إلى سواتر ومدن جديدة ونصب مجهولة وذكريات طاعنة في الوجع. أحدثك عن الليالي التي أصبحت فيها كل القصائد مريمة والزوايا بلا سكينة والضوء جرح تنز منه شهقات لا حدود لها. أحدثك عن كل حرب وثقت تاريخها بثقب في صوتي حتى أصبح نايم.
3 Tales for Hanna by Jennifer Jean. My mom tries to convince me she didn't leave me for 7 years. I'm driving through Salem. This is a dangerous game. To win, I can't play. I can't want to play. I can only grip the wheel, breathe, practice forgiveness, which means shining a light on the fact. Even though, as you say, Hanna, light becomes a wound from which boundless gasps ooze. A part of my second tale is the tale you didn't tell me, Hanna. I was born on the 4th of July. We dance around this fact, but dancing is how we know each other. The third tale is that I want control when God is in control. Hanna, if we walk Salem streets, talk and feel a warm wind, we did not tell that breeze to touch our hair. Which reminds me of the time technology told me the Arabic word for hair is the Arabic word for poetry, which is a lovely mystery.
Thank you so much. My name is Amy Merrill, and I'm a founder of the Her Story is Collective. We are a group of women based in Iraq and the U.S., committed to peaceful dialogue and creative collaborations. I want to express a special thank you to the Iraqi American Reconciliation Project. We've had such a great collaboration with them over the years, and we're so happy to be here in Minneapolis with them. I want to thank Dr. Zahra Al-Maliki and his wife. Thank you so much for coming this evening. Jesse Belt, who's not here, but who has been organizing everything remotely, and of course, Shema. And it would be remiss not to thank the IARP board members who've been just incredibly friendly and supportive and taking us around Minneapolis. As I said, I'm a co-founder of the Her Story is Collective. I'm based in Boston, Massachusetts. I'm a playwright and producer, and have been involved for several years in this collective. We call ourselves a collective because we are in Boston. We're affiliated with a theater company, but we attempt to try to make decisions collectively, democratically, in both countries. Our partner organization in Basra, Iraq, is the Lotus Women's Cultural League. You've just heard an example of our work, and you'll continue to see it tonight, which is that we pair up women. You just heard the work of Jennifer and Hanna, and I'm going to be talking about my collaboration with Elham Al-Zabaidy. Before I get into talking about that collaboration and what we're going to do, I want to extend a special words of appreciation for our translators. Most of them are not here tonight, and they're in Iraq, but they are integral to the work that we do. We wouldn't be able to create and have the important conversations without them, so I'll just say their names. They are Abir Abdul Karim, Aamera Siddiqui, Tamara Al-Atiyah, Suma, Nadia Sakran, and of course our dear Shema here in Minneapolis with the IARP. So what I'm going to do is to tell you a little bit about what you're going to hear next. Elham Al-Zabaidy, who is my creative partner in Iraq, wrote a short story called Camp Seagulls, based on her experiences interviewing women in refugee camps around Iraq. Tonight, we're going to feature an excerpt from Camp Seagulls, and we'll be bringing Aamera back to read just a short excerpt from it. But again, since I said something about how important our translators were, I just wanted to say that this short story has gone through a play adaptation, so that's been another way of translation, which is to take the fiction and then adapt it into a play. So we're constantly involved in translating of all different kinds, and I think that's it. So I'm just going to turn it over to Aamera. Thank you so much.
When confronted with real pain, one must be willing to hear the irrational. Our tires plunge through deep potholes filled with yesterday's rain. The driver cuts sharply to the right in the direction of Khamsa military IDP camp, located in the northernmost part of the city of Basra. He curses the miserable road conditions under his breath. Feiruz's melodic voice emanates from the car radio. Enough! I tire of blaming, my body withers. What beautiful memory inspired this soulful refrain? I wonder, wishing that Feiruz's song had the power to transport me to the countryside of Damascus. The tune fades and my musings dissolve as well, replaced now by the words, phrases, and memories of displaced women whose stories I have faithfully recorded in my notebook. Maryam and her 3 children were allocated by the camp a small room. In strange contrast to their grim surroundings, bright floral designs adorn the mattress upon which her children now sleep. A flicker of a smile appears as she recalls her husband watering similar flowers in the garden of their home in the countryside. She can visualize him there so clearly, and tentatively she extends a hand in his direction, willing this moment to last longer before he is swallowed up by the harsh darkness of her room. Feiruz begins another song. The urge to cry nearly overtakes me as I draw in a deep breath and fix my gaze out through the rain-streaked window. The volunteer doctor seated on my right looks at me with concern. "Are you okay?" she inquires gently. "I don't know," I whisper. Turning partway around in the front passenger seat, the chauffeur, our colleague, remarks over his shoulder, "She would be better if she broke her pen and destroyed that notebook of hers." His flippant remark somehow momentarily breaks the tension, and I smile grimly in spite of myself. The road seems endless, choked with traffic, noisy vehicles heedlessly splash the filthy water and muck everywhere under the miserable gray sky. I catch myself contemplating how my perception of rainy days has changed. There was a time when I enjoyed the wet grayness washing everything clean. Today I respond with different emotions. Why does this weather make me so sad? I shiver and feel hot simultaneously. Maybe I'm coming down with the flu. Maybe that's why it all feels so ugly and distorted. And I repeat in my silence, when rain pours from the sky, my heart pours with tears. Others mistake that what is happening on my cheeks is raindrops, not tears, from a broken heart.
Assalamu alaikum, Master. Good evening, friends. My name is Letta. It's good to see everyone here. I'm a part of Her Story Is, and you're going to see the collaboration between Dr. Thawra and I. Dr. Thawra is in Iraq, and I am in the United States. We are both of African descent, and our story is rooted in one of the origin stories of America, right, for people of African descent in the United States. The movie Roots, the docuseries. We discovered that Dr. Thawra and I had seen it around the same time, and we talked about its impact that it had on us and our communities. And what I want to say is it has some of the graphics that you will see, much like many of the origin stories that come for all of us, has some violence. So that is all I want to say about that. And thank you very much.
I want to hear you say your name. Your name is Toby. What's your name? Kunta.
صمت مطبق باستثناء صوت المذيع وهو يعلن عن بدء المسلسل. تمر الأحداث أمامي وأنا أراقب كونتا كونتي على مدار 45 دقيقة. نظرات عينيه التي اختزنت 1000 معنى ومعنى من العزيمة والإصرار على المقاومة والصمود.
I learned from Kunta Kinte that it was possible to live among trash and to preserve sacred. I learned to keep the private fire lit at all costs and to share the light, the heat, the ignition, and the memory carefully.
كنت أسمع الأنين الذي يصدره عندما يجلدونه وأرى انحناء ظهره والقيود حول رقبته معصميه وكاحليه. لذا تعلمت أن الخوف والاسترقاق والأصفاد وسائل خطيرة وتأتي بأشكال جسدية وعقلية وروحية.
I learned the shackles are not our birthright, that there are so many keys, manipulations, gyrations, manifestations to freedom.
لقد حولنا كونتا كونتي إلى طائر العنقاء الأسطوري، وعلى الرغم من أننا كنا في حيزنا الخاص إلا أنه كانت هنالك صرخات وضربات ودموع وابتهاجات جماعية تسري في الحي بأكمله.
Like an umbilical cord, like a chain reaction, like we were all in this together and we knew it.
عندما كنا نلتقي في الطقوس كان كونتي هو المحور. نرقص لنتذكر عذاباته، نغني عندما نغني ألمه. لم يكن تعاطفا معه، لم يكن تعاطف، بل لأن الجميع كان يبحث عن خلاصه.
It was amazing and scary. And Kunta Kinte planted a seed in the land of meat that yields year after year, after year, after year, after year. And know deeply that we come from a deep history that transcends narratives we were force-fed.
Masa al-Khair, good evening. Thank you so much for coming. I'm honored to be here with you all, and honored to be with the artists, and I enjoyed so much. This is wonderful, and I appreciate special thanks to the Iraqi American Reconciliation Project for this opportunity of bringing us together. I read some poems. The first one I read in Arabic and in English, and then the rest in English. I write in Arabic, always then in English from right to left, then from left to right. Amarji is a word in Sumerian language, means freedom and returning to the mother. Amarji. متفرقة مثلنا الحروف السومرية، الحرية منقوشة هكذا AMRJ، معناها العودة إلى الأم. هكذا إذا نبتت للخرائط حدود، الطيور لا تعرف ذلك بعد، تترك فضلاتها أينما تشاء، أغنياتها تمر كما المشردين بأي مكان. الجنة ليس فيها حدود ولا غنائم ولا منتصرون. الجنة أمارجة، ليس هناك منتصرون أصلا. الجحيم ليس فيه حدود ولا خسائر ولا شياطين. الجحيم أمارجة، ليس هناك شياطين أصلا. أمارجة، ربما قمر يتبعنا إلى البيت، ظل يعثر أخيرا على صاحبه، خرزة من خرزات السوار تلتم أو تنكسر معا، سر تحفظه الشجرة لمئات السنين. ربما ما يحتشد في قلب السجين، ما يلمع حول حصاة في حضن الشمس، ما يمتزج من قطرات مياه بين الصخور، ما يتسرب من الموتى إلى أحلامنا. ربما زهرة مرمية في الهواء متدلية هناك وحدها، زهرة تعيش وتموت بدوننا. أمارجي، هكذا نعود إلى الأم، غرباء من غرباء، هكذا مثلكم جميعا نتنفس. أمارجي، وقبل بكائنا الأول نبكي. أمارجي. Amarje, scattered like us the Sumerian letters. Freedom is inscribed Amarje, meaning returning to the mother. This then is how the map grew borders. The birds don't know it yet, leaving their droppings wherever they want. Their songs, like exiles, might pass by anywhere. There are no borders in paradise, neither spoils nor victors. Paradise is Amarje, no victors at all. There are no borders in hell, no losses, no demons. Hell is a margin, no demons at all. A margin might be a moon that follows us home, a shadow that stumbles on its true self, a bead from a bracelet, a secret a tree keeps for centuries. Maybe it's what crowds the prisoner's heart, or what shines around the pebbles mixed with drops of water among the rocks, what seeps out from the dead into our dreams. Maybe it's a flower thrown into the air and hangs there alone, a flower that will live and die without us. A margin, that's how we return to the mother, strangers from strangers. And so, like all of you, we breathe a margin. And before we shed our first tears, a margin is what we weep. Thanks. The stranger in her feminine side, in Arabic there's this الغريبة بتاعها المربوطة. بتاع المربوطة is the feminine symbol that we use to make the feminine words. Everything has gender in Arabic. History is male. Fiction is female. Dream is male. Wish is female. Feminine words are followed by a circle with two dots over it. They call this symbol the tide circle, knotted with wishes which come true only when forgotten or replaced by the wishes of others. In the town of tied wishes, people feel great anticipation because a stranger will arrive today in her feminine sign. Someone says he saw her two dots glittering, refuting another's vision of a cat's eyes hunting in darkness. So scary, he says, how the moon hides in her red circle. Everyone is busy today, listing wishes on pieces of paper they'll give to the wind. When the stranger finds them on her way, she'll collect them and adorn them to her circle, tossing off some old wishes to make space for the new. They say the dropped ones will come too. The stranger's lateness worries those who wait. Someone says she's searching for a word to complete a special sentence, the gift she'll bring to town. Another wonders if she seeks a verb or a noun and offers to find her. A third warns that the stranger may turn him with one touch into a flower that blooms for only an instant before it withers and dies, her circle throbbing with songs that cause sadness and elation, and something so obscure no one has a name for it. Will she complete a verb or a noun phrase, or go solo, a word complete on its own? They wonder. When they finally hear footsteps, they know the stranger must be near. Make sure the gate is open, they remind one another. They hear clinking. A bracelet? A chain? New gods. Long ago, people made gods of palm dates and prayed to them. But once they got so hungry, they ate their gods. Then wandered, still hungry and lonely, in search of succor. Finally, these people conceived the idea of worshipping gods as ghosts in machines, uneatable gods of metal, stainless, perfect, and tireless, except that when they run out of energy, they look around for humans to consume. Eva, whose shadow is a swan. Eva is my friend from Sweden. I'm not going to tell her story is in this poem. is a real character. The poem is real. It's based on a true story. Titled Eva, Whose Shadow is a Swan. The day we met in Babylon, for me to interpret her, Eva found a pocket stone she'd later add to her collection of stones from different cities she kept in a glass ball. We strolled roadsides piled with rocks blasted from bridges and buildings, now bent and cratered, yet I like to think that stone might have predated the fall of Babylon when people spoke one language. I liked Eva's musical tone. She said, "I'm from Stockholm, home to no war for 200 years. I'm from Baghdad," I replied, "a city we call the home of peace, though war has lived in it for 200 years. We exchanged postcards for 30 years before my East and her West met in London, our friendship needing no umbrellas in the rain. I waited for her impatiently, but hid on a whim behind a pillar, admiring her poise as she approached and scanned the passers-by like Noah in search of the ark. A woman nearly 90, so beautiful, her shadow a swan, a goddess who found her lost universe in the last minute. She hiked an island mountain on the way to our meeting and bought a CD of fairy music for me. When I followed up with a farewell call, I learned she lost her hearing. Right, so I can hear you. She must have read my lips. The concert we attended in the rain must have seemed like lightning without thunder. When I received her postcard, I can't read her handwriting, but plan to search the dictionary of Babylon for her words and decipher the line drawn by time. In a word, when my students misspell Arabic, they discover how letters can change fates. Amal, hope, can make an anagram of Elham, pain, an exercise I would hesitate to dissuade. And shafa, healing, will mean some shaqa, suffering. I can't spare them, but when they learn bahr, letting them express a desire to go to sea, I ensure they don't spell harb before they end up in a war they never intended. Even a kiss, qubla, could explode if they wrote qumbla, bomb. But I can't keep their best teacher, life, from giving them all the lessons they need. And I'll end with this poem. Tablet is a series of tablets. This tablet one is an excerpt, 12 small sections, which is 5% of my new manuscript tablets. This is named after Sumerian clay tablets. I wrote in Arabic, then in English, and the third layer of translation I practice in these tablets, transferring them from words to images. I mean, I drew them primitively, as you see, in harmony with the spirit of those signs in their first communication with the world, the Sumerian, writing before the letters. Tablet 1. She pressed her ear against the shell. She wanted to hear everything he never told her. My heart's quite small, that's why it fills so quickly. Water needs no words to mix with water and fill the blank spaces. The tree doesn't ask why it's not moving to some other forest, nor any other pointless question. He watches TV while she holds a novel. On the novel's cover, there's a man watching TV and a woman holding a novel. On the first morning of the new year, all of us would look up at the same sun. The shadows the prisoners left on the wall surrounded the jailer and cast light on his loneliness. Homeland, I'm not your mother, so why do you weep in my lap like this every time something hurts you? Far away from home, that's all that changed in us. Cinderella left her slipper in Iraq along with the smell of cardamom wafting from the teapot and that huge flower, its mouth gaping like death. Instant messages ignite revolutions. They spark new lives, waiting for a country to download. A land that's little more than a handful of dust when faced with these words. There are no results that match your search. We cross borders lightly, like clouds. Nothing carries us. But as we move on, we carry rain and an accent and a memory of another place.
Our next presentation called Once I Was There. It's written by Elham Al-Zabaidy and it's an animated short film and talking about climate change and how it's affecting Iraq weather. So we have the beautiful marshes in the southern of Iraq and it's get affected by the climate change. And Elham wanted to share how it's affecting her hometown of Basra. So it's written by Elham Al-Zabaidy and the translation done by Aamera Siddiqui and the production done by Her Story Is and Lotus Cultural League and Cinema Today. Thank you and enjoy the film.
أجد ذاكرتي صوب رحلة قديمة. أفتش بالمرآة عن تلك النظرة المدهشة بحدها وأنا أرقب القصب وهو شاهق نحو السماء. جمال زهور اللوتس وهي تطفو فوق سطح الأعماق. تميل برأسها عند اقتراب المشهور تفتح الطريق أمامها ليتوغل أكثر وأكثر. هل غبت عن الوعي؟ هل تجتاحني موجة من مشاهد أفلام الرسوم المتحركة؟ ذاك الضفدع الشقي الأخضر ذو الابتسامة العريضة والذي يقفز بخفة من ورقة لورقة يسابق الأسماك التي تمر تحت المشبوك. أطل برأسي نحو مياه النور تبرق عيني داخل مياهه النقية. نظراتي تتجول بين السمكات وإصرارها العميق ورقصات الضفدع العين وهي تشاهد أطراف المشبوك. ولأنه ضفدع العين كما في الأساطير وحكايات العجائز يكشف شغف الطفولة يتحول بخبثه لفراشة ملونة تطير نحو قمم القصب البردي الخضراء. تستقر للحظات ترقبني من بعيد ثم تدعوني لرحمتها. تنفض جناحها لتتحول لفكر من طيور الأعوار. وعند المنطقة البغدادية وسط الأعوار يعمد جناحها بماء الأغوار الطاهرة ويحلق بعيدا بعيدا. وعند أطراف قرص الشمس ينفض جناحه مرة ثانية يولد منها أسرع عصافير تمضي لتقنعه. نلتقي هناك مع النواقص على ضفتي شط الهرم في البصرة، بدءا من ملتقى نهر دجلة والفرات في القرنة، مرورا بكل تلك المساحات الشاسعة من بساتين النخيل، لنستقر عند بساتين التنور، نشدو مع موجات الشط الكبير أغانينا البصرية. لنجمع المحبين والمسافرين فوق البلم العشري، يشق بمكنه أمواجه الزرقاء النقية ماضيا بمسيرته، ترافقهم الطيور والنوارس لتستقر عند آثار شجرة السدر المطلة على جداول أبي الخصيب المنسابة بين بيوتها الطويلة، أجمل بساتين يمكن أن ترق العين، أو ربما تكمل مسيرتها لتبني عيشا لها بين أغصان شجرة حناء في أحدى مزارع الفاو الكثيفة، أو ربما
يفعلنا بين لتا والفرات
تسموه مياه نهر شط العرب، هجرة طيور الأهواء، ضوء آلاف من نخيل البصر، نفوق الأسماء، ثقب الأوزون،
الاحتباس الحراري،
تلوث البيئة،
انتشار العواصف، مخلفات الحيوان.
دعني يا مذيع نشرة الأخبار بحلول الحقيقي الذي كنت به منذ أن وطئت رجلي أرض البصرة وأنا طفلة صغيرة. دعني هناك حيث كانت البصرة واحة جمال وأمان. دعني يا مذيع نشرة الأخبار بحلول الحقيقي. يا ترى لو كسرت المذياع هل سأتخلص من هذا الوجع؟ هل ستعود البصرة كما كانت؟
One poem I read in Arabic and in English. The War Works Hard is translated by Elizabeth Winslow from the book with the same title. الحرب تعمل بجد، كم هي مجدة الحرب ونشطة وبارعة، منذ الصباح الباكر توقظ صفارات الإنذار، تبعث سيارات إسعاف إلى مختلف الأمكنة، تؤرجح جثثا في الهواء، تزحلق نقالات إلى الجرحى، تستدعي مطرا من عيون الأمهات، تحفر في التراب، تخرج أشياء كثيرة من تحت الأنقاض، أشياء جامدة براقة وأخرى باهتة ما زالت تنبض، تأتي بالمزيد من الأسئلة إلى أذهان الأطفال، تسلي الآلهة بإطلاق صواريخ وألعاب نارية في السماء، تزرع الألغام في الحقول، تحصد ثقوبا وفقاعات، تدفع عوائل إلى الهجرة، تقف مع رجال الدين وهم يشتمون الشيطان المسكين، يده ما زالت في النار تؤلمه، الحرب تواصل عملها صباح مساء، تلهم طغاة بإلقاء خطب طويلة، تمنح الجنرالات أوسمة والشعراء موضوعا للكتابة، تساهم في صناعة الأطراف الاصطناعية، توفر طعاما للذباب، تضيف صفحات إلى كتاب التاريخ، تحقق المساواة بين القاتل والقتيل، تعلم العشاق كتابة الرسائل، تدرب الفتيات على الانتظار، تملأ الجرائد بالمواضيع والصور، تشيد دورا جديدة لليتامى، تنشط صانعي التوابيت، تربط على أكتاف حفاري القبور ترسم ابتسامة على وجه القائد، إنها تعمل بجد لا مثيل له، ومع هذا لا أحد يمتدحها بكلمة. The war works hard. How magnificent the war is, how eager and efficient. Early in the morning, it wakes up the sirens and dispatches ambulances to various places, swings corpses through the air, rolls stretchers to the wounded, summons rain from the eyes of mothers, digs into the earth, dislodging many things from under the ruins. Some are lifeless and glistening, others are pale and still throbbing. It produces the most questions in the minds of children, entertains the gods by shooting fireworks and missiles into the sky, sows mines in the fields and reaps punctures and blisters, urges families to immigrate, stands beside the clergymen as they curse the devil. Poor devil, he remains with one hand in the searing fire. The war continues working day and night. It inspires tyrants to deliver long speeches, awards medals to generals and themes to poets. It contributes to the industry of artificial limbs, provides food for flies, adds pages to the history books, achieves equality between killer and killed, teaches lovers to write letters, accustoms young women to waiting, fills the newspapers with articles and pictures, builds new houses for the orphans, invigorates the coffin makers, gives grave diggers a pat on the back, and paints a smile on the leader's face. The war works with unparalleled diligence, yet no one gives it a word of praise.
Thank you, Dunya. That just felt like listening to music to me, especially the Arabic one. So, yeah, it's just amazing. So, my name is Layla Hussein, and I serve on the board at Iraqi American Reconciliation Project. So, on behalf of IARP, I just really want to thank all the artists that are here tonight. Sincerely heartfelt thank you for spending your time with us and being here and taking time out of your busy lives to be here with us tonight. And thank you for everyone who attended tonight. Really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedules as well for being with us. If you found this valuable and you enjoyed it, please consider if it's within your means to make a donation to support our programming. You have these white little envelopes in your programs. We also have a Ramadan food basket drive right now in partnership with our partners on the ground in Iraq. So I know our team has been working really hard to try to get donations so that we can get as many food boxes out as possible. So if you'd like to contribute to that, you can do that with this. Otherwise, come talk to me at the table afterwards. You can do that online as well. And also, shout out to the Al-Mutanabi exhibition right out there in the lobby. It's going to be there through June 1st. So take some time to take a look at it. It's really powerful art from around the world in standing in solidarity with the victims of the Al-Mutanabi bombing. So thanks again for being here tonight, and please join us in the lobby for Iraqi tea and sweets. Thank you so much.